Peace, 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 ladies and gentlemen. How y'all doing this morning? Today is September the 16th, Thursday. Yes, September the 16th, 2021. Peace be with all y'all. Welcome back to my subscribers. If you're new to the page, if you're a new subscriber, I should say. I always say page, right? It's the channel. If you're new to the Space Invaders channel here on YouTube, welcome. Stay for a while. Check out some of the videos here that I have posted, previously. And you can see what we're about here. Talk about local, national, and world issues and news. It's all about each one teach one here. So, as I said once, and I'm going to say it again, welcome. Peace be with all of y'all. Hey, the work week is over. Almost over, I'm sorry. Almost over for some of us. And shoot, we looking at a little over 3 months left in this year, man. This year, it's been, we know what it's been. It's been one roller coaster ride, you know what I'm saying, starting from early in 2020 till now. But folks, as y'all see in the title, we're going to talk about education today, and we're going to talk about the job market, employment, as I should say. And specifically, we're going to speak on North Carolina, and this may pertain, as it will pertain, the topic will pertain across the board to others around the country who may view this video here. Without getting too deep in it, I just want to talk first I want to start off about the job market here and all the talk about, first, it was a lot of talk about people don't want to go back to work because they're getting unemployment, and they're just not trying to go back. They're making more money being at home. Well, I beg to differ on that, because a lot of people will put out of work without, it was not their fault. They were forced out of work. A lot of people, we have to remember that. A lot of folks didn't just want to go out. They were forced out because you had the non-essential and essential workers. And you know that if you were non-essential, you were basically the ones that were sitting home, and the essential workers was anybody, public servants, public service workers, EMT, fire department, police department, of course, so forth on that level, state, county workers, city workers, truckers, and then it was, if you worked in fast food or the grocery chain, fast food was only doing like drive-thrus, remember, once everything got shut down for the quarantine. Then you had the grocery store clerks and everything, stock workers and everything like that. They were working, because the only thing you could do was get food. And in the pharmacies were open as well. It wasn't with so much you could do. We already know. I may be forgetting some things. I may be forgetting some industries that were still allowed to maneuver. Of course, the trucking industry as well, because that's how you get your goods. People were forced. Their hands were forced. And to be quite honest with you, I didn't blame some of them, because if some of them were working and then they got blessed to sit home and then could be able to get more than what they were doing, busting their tail on a job, and they were able to sustain and take care of their responsibilities. Hey, who can be mad at that? Especially if you work your life busting your tail and then you able to get that type of break. We had to stop and remember for a minute. It was a big stigma being put on and saying that a lot of people were just sitting home and collecting this money and burning the money. A lot of people had families too, And a lot of us probably know those folks who were in that situation at the time, if it weren't you yourself. You know what I'm saying? So we had to take that stigma off. And my thing is today, okay, so the unemployment thing has been stopped or whatever. I haven't heard. I heard some things in the wind about they were going to start something back up, but I don't know. I just don't think the government is giving up anything no more, no matter what the numbers turn out this time. I don't think they can afford it on no level. They can't afford to shut down the country again. They really not trying to give up no money. They really wasn't trying to give up no money then, you know, when at the height of the pandemic. So that's just my thoughts and feelings on that. But as we look around, and if you look at the very first video when I started really coming back to my YouTube channel again, in the very first video I spoke about resetting in the mind, and then watching in these times we gonna really see who's with you. And I was speaking on government and speaking on, like, you know, these officials, the Democrat, Republican type, you know, politic wise, you gonna really see now who's gonna walk that walk and talk that talk, you know, who's about that action like they were speaking. So when I think about North Carolina, I'm saying, man, wow, you guys never stepped it up, and never, even in the height of, even to this day, when you're hearing about, they're saying people don't want to come back to work. So you have some businesses are taking an initiative now and raising their minimum wage up. You know what I'm saying? You've seen some companies, you might seen people that were maybe paying just minimum wage have really jumped up and like, hey, we're going to give 15, 16, 17 an hour. You're seeing companies really trying to step up because they know they're hurting right now. And I just think for North Carolina, the state, you have not even heard them. They haven't had said a peep about stepping it up, about raising the state minimum wage, being proactive where other states had been implemented and then did it 10 years ago. You know, you had other states had stepped up the U.S. national minimum wage was what, $7.25 or whatever. It's $7.25 here in North Carolina. So with the country, the minimum wage, the average. It's amazing how this state still has not talked about raising the minimum wage. And the cost of living has gone up. And definitely you've seen the impact over the last year. The cost of goods have gone up, you know, for multiple reasons. Housing has gone up. If you try to rent a house now, it's below the national average, but that's still not saying that it's not high just because it's just a little below the national average. Okay, if you look into it, but you see healthcare is beyond the national average. You know what I mean? If you look into it, so it's like, man, the cost of living has went up, and definitely if you've been in the market, or if you're in the market and trying to buy a home, the cost of living has gone. I mean, that cost has gone up. So it's like, come on, you have to balance out some things here. You have to make it a little easier for the people here. You know, let's come to a meeting. But it's like these folks, they want to keep their foots on the neck of the people, but they're talking about jobs. It doesn't matter the type of the jobs that come and do. What are they paying for the people? What are the incentives for the people? You know, you bring in jobs, but what kind of jobs? What are they going to bring to the people? How is it going to help someone sustain? Are they going to have to still continue a new business, a new company comes in? Are they still going to have to work 2.5 jobs to take care of their family? Let's be real here. When we talk about the jobs available, what jobs are we talking about? These restaurant jobs, people just can't live off of that. And if you think that, and again, a lot of people sit at home, and a lot of people, they're like, oh, people not going back to work. People have gone back to work. People have got creative over the time when the market, when they lost their jobs. Everybody's not stupid and everybody's not lazy in this country. So a lot of people had time to reflect. You know what that may have done to some people, to sit home and then find out, like, what? The first time we all heard of non-essential and essential workers was during the pandemic. So if somebody heard, like, I'm a non-essential, what do you mean? I mean, what do you mean? So when somebody finds out, like, what? I'm in an industry that's not that, I'm really, like, you know, if you're working for somebody, everybody's expendable unless you own your own thing. Let's be clear of that. But when you're at that point and you're like, wow, my what I'm doing, the industry or the field I'm in is really not needed, that gonna do something to you. And then you sat home all this time, people got creative and they created their own jobs. So from last year to now, you had about almost 2.5 million people creating their own thing, creating their own jobs. Look into it. You can do the research on it. You know, I don't like to bring y'all nothing and just be talking. So that's the deal there. And I just feel like North Carolina needs to step it up. Yeah, January of 20, what was it supposed to be? January 2022, they were supposed to step it up with the minimum wage. I don't know. You know, if that was, they were supposed to step it up with the minimum wage, and they're supposed to reach a little over $10 an hour. We shall see, you know. But I think that still needs to be higher. You need to go to at least 14. Like, come on, man, you still keeping the foot on people's neck. Like, we have to be rational here. They're building, when you're starting to see around your whatever part of North Carolina, and even you may have been seeing this, whatever state you reside in the country, they're building. Now you're seeing every piece of wherever there's vegetation at, large acres of it, they're mowing it down and they're building shopping centers off the highway, inside the city. They're putting apartment complexes up. What does that tell you? They're preparing for more people in their county and cities to make money off of you. But you're trying to suck the well dry, but not offering no more minerals to it. It's amazing. So, you know, that's just my take on it on the surface without going too deep. I just feel like North Carolina, you need to step it up when it comes to minimum, you know, raising the wages. It shouldn't only be on the businesses that come to the state to be proactive and do it. You should put that on the state. If you show value in your people, then these companies cannot come to your state and just think that they can pay your people whatever when your state is on the rise. See, these companies don't come to your state unless they know it's money to be made there. So let's stop playing with the people that pay taxes to the state. And let's be clear, people are paying property taxes on things that they shouldn't even be paying. Paying property taxes on a vehicle that